don't know.
Okay, we're live. Excellent.
Are we?
Yes,
Holy
we're live.
shit.
I'm pretty sure we're live. I'll give it a second for this thing to... There, 3, 4. It just jumped like 4 seconds. This thing on?
Yeah,
So delayed. It's so weird looking at one side and then looking over there. It's still going back and forth. I see myself talking with my arms crossed. There, now I'm waving my arms. There we go. Jeez. Okay. Okay, today on the show, the What's the DD podcast, right? That What's the DD podcast?
What's the day?
We should change our name every episode.
Every episode?
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
So today's What the DD podcast. Next week or tomorrow, who knows if we have time, is going to be Check Out My Double D podcast. And
Nice.
then and I'm going to have like, oh man, Amazon wouldn't have a bikini shirt here in time for me. So we're just going to have to imagine.
We don't have to,
Oh.
but we can if we want. All right, so today we're going to go over the Biden tax plan, the SPY, and what appeared to be a market crash that occurred, but I don't know. Anyways, Luminar, Dimensional, Australian Miners and Steel, Boston Dynamics and SoftBank, Amazon, Union and robots replacing workers, and CarMax. That's what we're talking about. Any questions?
No, but
Excellent.
I'm thinking of Illuminati every time you said the Lumen part. So I'm just, yeah.
You know, we might end up finding out that they're a part of that.
That's how they're funded. They're publicly traded.
They
Right
have
under
to-
people's noses.
They have to be, right? I mean, if you were like a secret society, you would need funding, and so
I mean,
it'd probably come through a deli.
about the good sandwich.
Yeah. Pastrami. Pastrami funds the Illuminati. Illuminati. All right, we are looking at the SPY.
Right.
SPY.
Really, that's all their ticker is.
Yeah,
Is SPY.
SPY. Spider S&P 500 ETF Trust.
Wow, they're down $3.80.
Yeah, well, so
Market they were up 0.11% though, or 0.11. I should specify, but
so this was everyone freaks out about the SPY. I mean,
investment trust mutual funds.
if you want to scare somebody that's into stocks, tell them that the SPY dropped 20 points or something. And if they haven't been looking at, anything, they may freak out a little bit. So, which is odd. Was it March 21st? Around here, the 19th it starts. So it dipped back on the 16th. Let me switch this window over to...
I mean, with what I'm looking at on a day-to-day, even if it dipped, it's definitely, it's gone up since then. Like, a pretty good amount.
It's done well for quite some time.
However, I have a problem. First off, is this one of those ETFs?
It is, yeah.
Okay, so couple things. One, ticker name is SPY,
which is awesome.
I mean,
you gotta love that.
Don't get me wrong. That is a sweet name to have, but
CIA.
But exactly,
yeah,
who
NSA.
is it?
Yep.
And now
sure.
the other thing with these ETFs that you mentioned that we're going to talk about. Now, for those of you that don't know what an ETF is, I learned what an ETF is, and it is super weird. Now, luckily, of course, Smarty Pants, Jerry over here, he already knows. But
no clue.
Just go with it, man. Just go. No. So let's see. Where's the definition? I had it right up here. Here it is. So, what is a stock exchange traded fund? The term stock exchange traded fund refers to securities that tracks a particular set of equities. These ETF trades on exchange the same way normal stocks do and track equities just like an index. So,
mic off.
From our understanding, the man, whomever, government, whatever you want to call it, the spy, sets aside $100 million that they have that they wrote off for this toilet seat, right? And they take this $100 million and they invest it in a group of stocks that they are eyeballing, right? And then as those stocks do well, others can then invest in that SPY stock, which is a group of stocks. Therefore, technically speaking, doesn't the SPY get their investment back because people are then backing the SPY to continue backing these stocks? Like, I feel like
Fraud.
they're not necessarily fraud. It's ingenious if you have the money, but why the fuck don't we have those gold toilet seats that they wrote off for? I mean, they should have had the money back by now.
They have the gold toilet seats. We don't get them. Unless you got into SPY a while ago. I mean, you know, if you had invested in SPY back in...
So,
let's see. Yep. COVID happens. SPY's at 338, and then it just falls. That's a crash. That's a crash. It goes from, what is that? 338, 339, 339.17, let's say. 339, somewhere in there. Falls all the way down to 218. This is after COVID. So once again, this is not COVID, because COVID technically was, I guess it's debatable when. You can call it November of 2019. You can call it January of 2020.
But
this is Tom Hanks COVID.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going based off of U.S. COVID, not global. Okay.
Well, not even just U.S. COVID, because U.S. COVID had already occurred. It was Tom Hanks COVID.
Yeah, but Tom Hanks COVID, I thought we looked that up, and that was in like February though. That wasn't November. November is when it was really hitting Japan. I don't know. Let's look it up again. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
I feel like I want to still call it Tom Hanks COVID though.
I mean, we can call it anything we want.
Tom Hanks COVID. Yeah.
So when Tom Hanks COVID happened.
Hey, what's up, Rich? It's Rich. See, I spotted the chat before you did.
February 4th.
Papa Bear doesn't care about you. I do.
You know what, Rich? I do care about you. tell the other guy to just stop working for the man. All right. Anywho.
Have to. Tom Hanks COVID. Spy.
You can call him Suspect X, by the way.
You can call me anything, and I will have been called worse. But Suspect
X. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Or just Jerry. I go by Jerry. I go by my real name.
Wow, we're dropping government IDs here, and we're talking about the spy. You should be a little careful.
If we're going to talk about the spy and Tom Hanks, the government's already listening. Rich, are you with the government? He probably is with it. That's probably why. The one viewer we have is with the government. Oh, no. Yeah, it's true. We're boobs, not fools.
Yeah. Check out our double D's. It's in the title.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's the next stream. Sorry.
That's the next one. Yeah.
I got ahead of ourselves. Okay, so moving on. So is there a way to tell what stocks SPY has invested in?
Maybe. So Cathie Woods runs quite a few ETFs, like quite a few. And you can do that with her. What's in the SPY? Let's see. Is it tell us? Here we go. Apple is 6.56%. Microsoft is 5.39. Amazon 4.38. Facebook 2. Alphabet A and C. I guess no Alphabet B. Berkshire Hathaway. Wow, that's Tesla, Johnson JNJ, JP Morgan. So these we should see that these fell. Yeah, we should see Apple fall. So they have 6%, 6.5% is Apple, right? And SPY drops today pretty dramatically, but I mean it's already. Look at this. What is it?
What's the percentage of Johnson & Johnson?
Oh, it's low. It's their bottom tier, I guess. 1.29%.
So then the recall that Johnson & Johnson had on their COVID vaccine probably had no impact in reference
I don't
of,
think that had.
because I'm looking in the past, like,
It didn't impact them. When
month,
was that? A
and it
couple days
doesn't.
ago?
Yeah, I think it was like a week or so ago. It
Okay.
definitely wasn't that long ago, and I see this stock just does nothing but rise. So that's kind of weird. However, the Johnson & Johnson stock by itself, I imagine because of the recall, probably took a pretty big dive.
It depends on when the day of the recall was. Let me see if I can find that real
Let's
quick.
see. I'll find the recall. You find the stock.
Oh, I already found the stock. You find the recall then. I got to get you on Benzinga because you go in there and see.
Me.
Well, because it pulls up quicker. Let's go to news. Which I never go, and then we do JNJ. Also do. Was it recall? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was recalled
No, I don't want.
2 days ago, a week ago. Let's see, where is it? April 13th. Or as of April 12th, more than 6.8 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that had been administered. Okay, so the 13th is when it was recalled. So yeah, not too long ago, like roughly like 9 days ago.
So let's see, April 13th, and we're looking at Johnson & Johnson. Yeah, so, okay. So April 13th, Johnson & Johnson fell. So it must have been really around the 12th. So that the 12th, this thing closes at 161, right? And then at the end of the day on the 13th, it closes at 159. It fell though during the day down to 156, but it had already been moving down. So I don't know if you can see on the stream, but
Well, I can, and even though it was already falling down, I mean, it didn't help.
no,
However,
it definitely was a catalyst.
I will state this: anybody who's in the right position that extremely benefited from these government stimuluses, COVID is giving you the opportunity to jump into the stock market because you're basically getting this money that you're going to be taxed on anyways, and it's either going to last you a little bit or you can make it last you a lot of it. And as you can see with Johnson & Johnson, it went down and then immediately went right back up.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a good time to buy and then immediately sell. And then, I mean, like what? You could have made like like a $20 profit almost off of those stocks, just as an example. And that's, just because of what happened.
But you wouldn't expect it to, right? So Johnson & Johnson, they come out with Johnson & Johnson's going to have the recall. It falls during the day. And when it falls during the day, it's going to look more like what SPY did. So SPY did what Johnson & Johnson is doing now, except for same thing with Johnson & Johnson. This on the bottom here, I have the MACD, which is I never remember the actual term, but it's a moving average over time.
Thanks, Greg.
Oh, nice. Yeah, 13th. Okay. So the MACD is, I need to add, there we go. It's the moving average convergence and divergence. All right. So I guess that's self-explanatory.
Let's just call it Mack Daddy because
it is. Yeah, it's the Mack Daddy. So when the red line is crossing the blue line like it is right now on the SPY, historically speaking, and with most stocks, it should continue to fall because the fall should have occurred. It should have already have occurred. You see the dark green, it's rising. And then the higher levels, this is the volume. The volume's going up, it's dark green, it's heavy volume. It goes to light green, it's falling, right? And at this point right now, even though it's falling, it's still rising, which is not too uncommon, but you could expect it to fall. The fall's coming soon unless you start seeing more dark green and it keeps rising, which it did. You see it rise, and then it's light green and it still rose, but it's very, very minimal. It stays where it wanted to be, and it begins to fall, right? Now we have the catalyst of today.
Mic off.
I just want to point out, though, I mean, Mack Daddy is very informative.
Yes, it is. The Mack Daddy is the best. Love the Mack Daddy. The Mack Daddy is probably, I make a lot of my my decisions based off of the Mack Daddy, which has not helped me.
Why you invested in those Dogecoins?
It is. It is. And it's why I sell or don't sell. It's not the only reason, but it is one of the main reasons why I love Mack Daddy. There, I said it. Okay. So today we have the catalyst. Biden comes out and he says anybody who makes over $1 million is going to get taxed like 43%, or it's capital gains. I don't know. I didn't look into it because I don't make over $1 million, right? So I don't care. The
Fair
only
enough.
reason why I care about it is to argue with people who say, hey, man, you're taxing the people and that's why you shouldn't. No, whatever. It doesn't affect you. But this did affect us if you were in the SPY or in many other stocks. It wasn't just the SPY that was affected by this. And we can trace it back by the stocks that were connected to the SPY, or we could trace it back to the stocks that I was connected to because they saw a noticeable drop at the exact same time. So a lot of people freaked out and probably sold, even though those capital gains tax would technically, unless they didn't go in effect until next tax year, would take effect this tax year.
I mean, even still though, like it would. I feel like it still would impact because they're not going to get the reports for this year until next year.
Wait.
And that it just really wouldn't seem like there would be a way for them to hide it. It just seemed more in the lines of a panic and probably some investors or what do they call themselves? That my brains
hedge funds or institutional investors.
Who's the guys that like work for like EJ and Raymond James, financial advisors? They probably were like, I don't know what to do.
Yes.
And then went like, we should sell. And now they're like, well, shit, that was a bad idea.
Well, here's the bottom line. I'm pretty sure I'm dumb a lot. Like I do a lot of dumb things, you know?
I agree.
You know, like when you do a really dumb thing, like when you open up a cabinet a certain way that hits you in the head, or like those kind of dumb. I do a lot of dumb things. But if the government comes out and says, hey, if you do this, which is considered income at a very, at this time, we're going to charge you more than we normally do. And everyone does that thing, right? So you sell your stocks and then it's considered capital gains or income, capital gains, right? And then they told you that if you did it, it was going to get taxed more than like double than it normally got taxed. And then you then sold your stocks. Like, wouldn't you want to hold out? Hold out.
I really feel like you would definitely lose because to clarify, capital gains are profits from the sales of an asset like shares and stocks and a piece of land, a business, and generally are considered taxable income. So like how much the gains are taxed depends a lot on how long you held the asset. So
Right.
So if the individual, let's say they've been an investor in Tesla since the beginning,
then they don't have to worry about it.
and well, on the contrary, they could potentially have to worry a lot because part of that capital gain depends a lot on how long that you've held the asset before selling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that means that
short-term capital gains is typically what gets taxed the most because they want a steady flow in the markets. They want a steady flow. So people who day trade or move money around quickly, they make the most on average, and so they tax it the most, and they want to reduce that, whatever.
And I did double check it as well. I looked it up. So yes, the short term. So basically, like anything that's been held for less than a year is going to have that higher tax for the capital gain. So yeah. So if they would have just invested in SPY less than a year ago, and then they decided to sell because of this announcement that Biden was making this crash, they just really fucked themselves.
Yeah, right. And like I said,
but
I do a lot of stupid things, but for somebody, so keep in mind also, this would only apply to somebody who had it doesn't only apply. So like taxes, right? If you get, I don't know what the numbers are, so bear with me. I'm not out of touch with the reality, and I'm not a multimillionaire, and I'm not, I know what the price of milk is occasionally. I don't because I don't pay attention to it, but not because I'm rich, just because I don't care about the 50 cents. I just want the milk that's not going to go bad in a couple of
The
days.
missus goes to the store, not me.
Yes. Thank you. Not to be misogynistic or chauvinistic or whatever the word is. I'm not from the 1800s.
It's an equal household. Household.
Household, yes. I'm progressive, okay? I buy the stuff online and I do it based off of the picture, the thumbnail. But I don't make the $1 million. So if you make, say, $20,000 a year, you get taxed, say, I don't know what the number is. Let's call it 18%, right? You make 40,000, you get taxed, say, 20%. That change of the tax occurs on the dollar over the bracket. So if you're at 20,000 and the bracket changes at 20, the increased tax amount only applies to the money made over that. So the 43% would only apply to the money made over the $1 million. Now, I didn't read the report.
No.
I'm talking out of my ass. But if I had over $1 million of income, I would know that, right?
Here's my question.
Okay, you asked the question. I won't know the answer, but you ask.
So we're imagining that this wouldn't impact people with lower incomes. And I feel like that is kind of false. And
the tax won't impact them, but
no.
It does.
Here's why. Like you mentioned, you yourself had investments in some stocks and you saw an impact because of this tax hike. However, for instance, not naming names, like the company I work for, if you invest in your 401k, they have a third-party company that monitors that 401k and invests that 401k for you. So let's say you've been with that company you're going on 30 plus years now, getting ready to retire, and you have over $1 million invested in the 401k. You don't make that in a year, but because of the investment you've had in that 401k, if that company that monitors it for you does investments with it, I still feel like that would have a significant impact because technically speaking, even though your income isn't registering that you make over $1 million, your net worth in that account is over $1 million.
Right, but if it's based off of income, which is only occurring when the stock is sold and applied to the short-term capital gains, it's only happening when you sell that, and it's only happening to your individual income over a month. So yes, in some respects you are correct, right? But what this is, I believe, and I could be wrong, this is fear and panic. This is fear and panic, and it's the Mack D, right?
Mack Daddy.
Yeah, if you look at the Mack Daddy, it's already going to come down. It was already time for it to pull back, for it to consolidate, for everyone buys a whole bunch and then it sells off a little bit. And that's how it works. It's just, it's the ebb and flow of the market or life and the waves and the Lion King. What's the Lion King?
The circle of life.
Thank you. Yes. So it's a circle of life with the stocks. There you go. You got it. Yeah. So the Mack Daddy is the circle of life. And the circle of life was already telling us that the SPY was likely to go down. Now, didn't have to. It doesn't have to do that. It can continue here's a good spot. This is very similar, and it rose a lot, just like it just did, and then it continues to rise, and it still might do that. Just like what was the other one we were looking at that didn't fall? Johnson JNJ.
I mean, it fell, but it only fell for like a week.
No, it
maybe
only
a couple of days.
But on the news, it only fell for a day. It was actually falling before the news, and then the day of the news, it fell from most likely people who knew about it the night before to the day it dropped, and then it climbed right back up to almost where it was, and then it just rose every day after the news. So Johnson JNJ gets a recall, and they don't fucking care.
This obviously would be like the definition of insider trading, but I mean, for those that knew,
which is okay,
the recall was going to happen. Yeah, because I mean, we don't do it, we don't promote it, don't do it, you'll go to jail.
Mic on.
if the individuals that knew it was going to happen sold it that day, the 12th, like right before the 13th, before that recall got broadcasted everywhere,
Yep.
and then
That should
let
be
it
illegal.
fall, and then bought it back
There you go.
for less,
There you
and
go.
they already got a kickback, and then now they already have a profit because now their original investment when they bought it previously, they were able to get it for less. So that's kind of like, I mean, I feel like that's definitely some sort of like thing that should be monitored if there's anybody who had it, sold it, and then rebought it after it fell. Like,
So I think we're
Well, that's
seeing
just-
the same thing with the SPY. So
you think that the same thing is going to happen?
I don't think it's just a SPY. I think it's a few other stocks, but the SPY is a good gauge of the market in general. And I think, and like I said, I'm stupid. I can open up a cabinet door and hit myself in the head easily. I do dumb things. I am not like a mega investor. I have no clue what the fuck is going on in my own life, let alone the market half the time. Okay? But
Fair enough.
if something is being done that only applies to people who happen most likely know about what the fuck it is and the major of the noise, so the general public, right? There's a lot of people in the general public, they're like, oh, taxes on billionaires, screw that, we can't have that. Yeah, you're not a fucking billionaire, right?
Yeah, I don't see the problem. I mean, but that's just perspective.
But
I mean,
exactly. So whether it's wrong or right, my opinion in that doesn't matter. What does matter is this. I could understand how if taxes were going to be applied to somebody making over $1 million a year, that person making over $1 million a year says, fuck that, I got a problem, right? The person who's making under $1 million who goes, oh my God, this is horrible. And so this is what I think. I'm not saying this is a simplified version, but I think this is what happened. This is my tinfoil hat. Here we go.
All right.
Biden comes out and says, if you make over $1 million a year, 43% taxes. The people who make over $1 million a year, we're going to hold them on the shelf for the side because they helped in this. I think I could be wrong. Tinfoil hat, crazy conspiracy, Jerry. Here we go. Right?
It is the spy games we're talking about.
It is a spy. Shit, they're listening. The one guy from the NSA, Rich, is listening to everything, telling the government, telling Biden. Anyways, so, okay, so the general public freaks out, sells their stocks, right? Retail investor doesn't move the market too much, but can if they're heavily invested in something like GameStop, right? But in general, in larger stocks where they are not heavily invested and they're only a very small portion, they move the stocks less. They move it a little bit. Somebody who's owned SPY since the beginning looks at it as an opportunity, right? I own, say, a few $1 million worth of, SPY stock, and I see an opportunity to help this thing fall a little bit further, right? Because I know it's already going to fall a little. It's already going to pull back. I think and believe that before the catalyst, it was already set to pull back to 408. That was my guess. Before the catalyst.
My question with this, though, especially with the way these EFTs work.
ETF. Mm-hmm.
ETF, sorry. Are we going to see the SPY fall because it's purchased and sold separately than these other stocks, or are we going to see a coordinated joint fall where these individual stocks like Tesla and Apple and stuff all start to fall, then the SPY falls? Because I feel as if the SPY falls, but
SPY falls.
These other companies do not, but I'm looking at as you're pulling them up, and they appear to be kind of tracking like up to that peak point right now where a few of them are dipping. So I mean, it definitely could make sense.
And then it drops more because of the catalyst.
Facebook, it should already be plummeted already, Just
Well, it was already tracking to do so. Now, Facebook should begin its rise shortly, depending on how it. Yeah, it doesn't seem to fall too much.
It's Facebook.
Oh, no, it has long periods sometimes of falling. So I mean, it's not an exact
I don't know if you
indicator,
go
but
back
it's
there
a good
during
one.
those long periods. Is that when he was being questioned by Congress?
I doubt it. I doubt he even cared about that. The water meme when that first came out, like I think that helped the stock.
Did you drink the Kool-Aid? No, I posted it on Facebook.
Yes. But so what I think happened is I think that it was already falling due to fear. People freaked out. They began to sell. And I think some institutional investors or heavy hitters sold off some shares. They took a little bit of money. They took a little bit off the top. And they took a little bit off the top to help push the catalyst down because they plan on fucking buying it when it gets a little bit lower. And then it continues to rise on the same damn path it's been rising. And will continue to rise. The 43% tax increase is not going to stop the SPY.
Well, I mean, if it's a good SPY, nobody can stop it.
That's true. Except for the SPY versus SPY. Am I that old? Nobody? Don't know? SPY versus SPY? Black and
I
white?
know SPY versus SPY, but
yes. All right.
It's just, I can guarantee you most of the people watching aren't going to know about it. Rich will probably know.
Probably not. I'm probably pretty dated there.
You got this guy
F on my Biden
audience,
opinion. Is that Rich?
Fucking Tide Pods, like I don't get it.
So here's the thing though, Rich. Right? Like whether Biden's good or bad, whether the 43% good or bad, whether any of these things are good or bad, the fact of it is, if I'm right, and I could be wrong because I'm wrong frequently, is that the people who make over $1 million would be hurt the most right now by selling the SPY. If it was going to count towards that income and push you over the edge, you wouldn't want to sell right now. If you believed in it, you would want to hold it, right? I mean, it depends on how you're playing your money and what you're doing with it, I guess. But at the end of the day, you definitely wouldn't want to sell it based off of the news. That would make no sense on this.
It really wouldn't, because
unless you wanted to buy the fucking dip.
I mean, if you have the money to throw away, even with the tax hike, sure. But if not, if you're selling it now only to buy it later, you're going to have that stock for less than 12 months. Therefore, you're going to be stuck with that higher taxable income.
True, unless you own that stock so that it's not short-term games. So if you owned it for a long time, say you owned 1,000 shares or whatever it is.
That's if you owned it, prior, but then you sold it so that you could wait and buy it back at a lower cost. That
just in a few days.
It starts over.
It's just in a few days too. It's just.
But I think that should start the clock over, though.
It does on those shares. So they probably didn't. The people I'm thinking that did this with my tinfoil hat didn't have it all right then.
Statistically, because it's one that they were already reporting, it would probably still count as a long-term.
Yeah. So impact. Say you've been investing in the SPY for the last 2 years, 3 years, whatever, right? And you buy 100 a month or 500 a month or whatever millionaires buy. I don't know, right? So you're buying that amount, and then this catalyst occurs, and you're like, yeah, I'll sell some of my older shares, get it to drop down. I was gonna buy some anyways next month, but now I'm just gonna buy them today. I would have bought them today because I think that I thought it was going to hit down to the 408, and I still think that it might. I still think we got 3 days, and I don't know, and I'm not a damn psychic fortune teller, so what the hell do I know? But
But we do eat fortune cookies.
I actually don't. I get them because I love Chinese food, but I'm not a big fortune cookie fan. One, because they never tell your fortune.
They absolutely do.
No, they don't. They're just like some kind of like, water is wet. You're like, yes, it is. Thanks for telling me. I appreciate that. It's really what I wanted to hear.
Pond of water.
Yes,
or you will get wet.
That's a fortune cookie. There you go. They're just basically Confucianism.
Your lucky numbers are 2, 5, 8, 7, 6, 6.
Look at it. This thing. So the news comes out. This thing's up at 416, and that's scary.
How long ago was that? Like back today, there where it had that huge dive.
This
Oh,
huge
that was
dive
today?
is today. This is when the news. So
Oh.
shortly around where the news comes out, this is where the dive hits. The news comes out and
I mean, I guess it's
oh no, I messed up my
like
thing.
it only dove
No
like
Control Z
$4.
is there.
But the way this graph looks, it looks like it plummeted.
It did because you're on the 1 minute, which is
Okay.
the actual. That's where the action is, and on the 5 minutes, right, and then on the 15 minutes, you can still see this just murderous fall off the side of a cliff that occurred. The 30 minutes,
but at the same time,
shows
okay,
it.
so like if you're not used to reading these graphs though, and you know, I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong. I'm going to get distracted here for a second. Nilla Wafers and fortune cookies are completely separate. Do not ever compare them again. Nilla Wafers are amazing. Okay.
Yeah, no, they are.
Right.
Who had a problem with Nilla Wafers? Oh my
Well,
God, Rich! No, no. How am I agreeing with you against Rich? I should be on your team, Rich, against this guy right here. The other boob.
I'm just saying they're not alike. They're not alike. But so if you're not used to reading graphs, which for instance, like I'm not, but I'm also not a constant trader. But just seeing this drop, the difference of it went from 416 to 412, $4. I don't really consider that to be a huge loss. Yes, it looks like a dive. But I'm just saying, let's just blame it on Wilson.
It happened quicker than it should have. So if you look at the last drop.
Sorry.
No, they're similar tasting though, but Nilla Wafers don't have fortunes inside of them. And I just like to point out that they could.
You make banana like a banana pie with fucking fortune cookies and tell me how much better that tastes or how much similar it tastes to using Nilla Wafers.
That sounds
okay. Right, and then I want a picture
delicious.
and I want to see you eat it on stream.
Okay, sure. Here's the problem: I don't bake, but I will try and this is not a sexist comment. Okay, I cook. I'm in the kitchen. I cooked breakfast. I cook a lot. Okay, but I will ask the wife to make that because I don't bake. I don't make pies.
You know, the fact that you're attempting to defend yourself, like this is not a sexist comment. That's ridiculous. I mean, honestly, if we have somebody that comes in that is that much of a snowflake to be like, you have the audacity to tell your missus to cook.
My wife might hear this when I'm replaying trying to get the keywords. Well. That's what I'm worried about.
Your wife knows you.
Look, if some rando
do anything.
Look, if some rando on the internet thinks I'm sexist, I don't care too much. But if my wife hears it when I'm replaying this, trying to get the clips,
he's gonna have a black eye.
I don't want. Yeah, you're gonna see me come back tomorrow talking about I fell down the stairs. My wife out there jabbing it. I don't need this kind of stress, man. So we have the spy, we have the drop, we have the Biden, we have the tinfoil hat, the NSA, the CIA, and the bullshit that it all is. Is this not bullshit? It was falling anyways. It's bullshit.
Judging by the Mack Daddy, yes, it was already falling, but at the same time,
not just the Mack Daddy. Okay, so not just the Mack Daddy. We have some other
utilizing the Mack Daddy. Okay, all right.
We also have the EMA, right? So we have the EMA right here, which I'm following on the 9-day.
All right, we're gonna call it EMA Irma.
Yes, the Emma. Emma. Why do we call her Irma? It's Emma.
I just wanted to throw something random. I mean, we have Mack Daddy for Mack D.
What the fuck? Yes, she will. She will give me that look. It would be bad. So we got the EMA already showing on the 9, the 15, the 65, the 200, and the 20. Well, except for on the what is this 65 down here. It's already riding these waves, and it was already gonna ride these waves, and it's riding on the Mac. It's already gonna ride these waves. Even if I'm wrong on how far it goes, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be somewhere in this region, which is still it was gonna fall.
Here's the important question before we move on to the next stock. Okay. In your non-professional opinion,
that's all I have.
That's all we all have. Would you recommend investing in SPY?
not allowed to recommend investing in the SPY. This is what I can say. I am okay. So we are absolutely 100% clear. This is not financial advice. This is a joke. I don't know shit. He doesn't know shit. Nobody knows shit.
I know everything that Google knows.
Technically, the professionals don't know shit either. But I would consider. So most people that I know that invest in SPY, I think that they're just housing larger sums of money that they know it's a better investment over the long run than putting it in a savings account. Because, you're going to get, I don't know what you get in a savings account, a big FU from.
Man, what, like 2 to 4% a year if you're lucky?
You're not getting 4%. Maybe if you're in
I
a
said if
credit
you're lucky,
union,
maybe a small town credit union. Yeah,
small
so-
town credit union, you might be able to pull that off. And that's harder and harder these days, right? But if you put it in the SPY, you're gonna do all right over a long period. It's gonna be better than some dumb mutual fund or something, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a big SPY guy. I use it to gauge the general market. That's what it's there for me. However, if I was gonna get in, I'd probably get in. I thought about it, maybe at the 408 or close to it. Because if I can hit the bottom, right, then it would be nice to take those gains. But I can't anyways, because my things are unfortunately falling at the same time, and to sell them at a loss to try and get the gain of. So this thing right here, if you take a look at it, right, and it's pretty predictable, but we could look at some averages somewhere in there. Maybe we'll make this nice. Did it get it? It did. Okay. And general, try and find one of the shorter jumps. That's probably pretty good. That's a bad one to use, but they're all real similar. So we'll go to right about there, get a different color so it's pretty. And so my guess, and we can come back and look at this, and this thing's going to drop down, maybe down to the 408, and I would try and probably get in around 409 if I was lucky, and then it would drop down to 407 and I'd sell it a loss. No, I'm joking. Freak out. Oh my God, they're going to tax me.
That capital gain. Oh my God.
Yeah, right. I might make over $1 million on my SPY. So I probably get in 409 if I'm lucky, somewhere in there, and expect it to get up to 422. So the $10 gain on a stock that's $400. I'm not too excited about that. But what's exciting about the SPY is while your money is in there, you pretty much know that it's going to go up. And you only know that because, I mean, that's what it has consistently done. It doesn't mean it's what it's always going to do. But if I had to house money somewhere. So someone asked me the other day, what happens if your money's in cash and someone like Etrade, right? Which I have some stocks in Etrade. What if Etrade went out of business? Or here's a better one. What if Robinhood went out of business, right? And I don't know this for sure. And they might. Who knows? It could happen. I don't know. They do dumb things. They're new, right? It's easy to do. Remember when MySpace went out of business? Can you imagine when MySpace was in business and people
It's
said,
still up. Come on.
yeah, Tom's hanging out there. I love Tom. I don't want to.
He's my best friend on MySpace. He was my first friend.
I think Tom is now my only friend on MySpace. And I don't feel like that's a sad thing, okay? I just want to point that out. Anyways, they could go out of business. It's highly doubtful. They could have the COVID drop, though, too. And that was ugly. And that's definitely, let's look. Yep, February 21st, COVID drop. But most likely it's going to continue on this path for some time. I mean, who knows how long, but it has since some time. It's doing even better than it used to. Maybe the trend continues to increase even steeper. I don't know. It's a good spot for a lot of people. A lot of people consider it to be a good spot to park their money. Would I park money there? Yes. If E-Trade or Robinhood, one of the accounts that I have, goes out of business and the money is not insured by the government, why it goes through, or the tracking isn't done right, who knows? If I have the money in stocks, the stock should be then safe because of the DTCC or whatever it is. Anyways, Point is, housing my money here instead of in cash is not a horrible idea, and I would do that. But would I trade it to try and make a profit? No. AOL
See,
Messenger was awesome. I love AOL Messenger.
My investment strategy is honestly going to be more like Uncle Eddie.
I don't know.
I'm going to go out. National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation.
Oh, fuck. Oh, jeez.
I'm going to go out in my yard.
Oh, my
dig a bunch of holes. and put 10 cans of fucking money. Because that stock, it's not going to grow. It's not going to diminish. I might not be gaining anything, but I'm sure as shit not losing anything.
I think this is a good segue into our next stock. I think this is
right, let's
a good
go.
point.
Let's bring on Uncle Eddie.
Uncle Eddie, right? Okay, I didn't say that. You did. I just want to point that out in case Stahl Murray, ever hears this. I don't want him to get mad at me. So there's a company called TPL, right? Which is Texas Pacific Land Corporation.
Mic off.
All right, Uncle Eddie.
Mic on.
Stahl Murray is let me try and get my facts straight here because I don't know much. Start singing. I know I love Texas. Austin, Texas, to be specific. I would just like to point out that I am now, and I was before, but I am 100% a believer in the Austin, Texas growth that's about to occur.
I mean, there's a lot of people that have been moving to Austin, Texas.
Well, Joe Rogan and Ron White and the comedy thing and what's going on there, I believe it 100%. 100% now, there's no doubt in my mind. It's not just going to be comedy because all the other people that are involved in it and the videographers and the sound recorders and all the people involved in that Hollywood industry that are leaving the California Hollywood section and all the other, that money gets revolved, it goes through. There are things that need to be done. There's going to be massage therapists moving out. All the things that are associated with that portion of Hollywood that is going to be invading Austin, Texas and changing it. Going to change it. Sorry. It's going to happen. Anyways, yeah, Austin, Texas, growth. It's going to happen. TPL, Texas Pacific Land Corporation. Texas Pacific Land Corporation is mainly engaged in sales and lease of land owned, retaining oil and gas royalties, and the overall management of the land owned. Okay. It operates its business in two segments, including land and resource management and water service and operations. The land and resource management segment focuses on managing its oil and gas royalty interest and surface acres located in 19 different counties, not countries, counties. The water surface and operations segment includes water sourcing, produced water gathering, treatment, recycling, infrastructure development, produced water disposal, water tracking, analytics, well testing. We got land, water, oil, right? Seemed like pretty good, solid plays to me. And Texas. And if you look at this thing, I mean, going back, whatever, but starting November 2020, it's just been on a tear. It's just been going up nonstop. And while this has been happening, every other so often, this guy,
Uncle Eddie,
no, Stahl Murray, Stahl. Forgive Papa Bear here.
Don't forgive me. You're an ass.
I haven't decided. So I'm calling you Papa Bear now, but I haven't decided. I can't call you Papa Bear.
That Uncle Eddie was an ass.
But I have to call you. What am I going to call you? I got to have a name for you. What's your name?
Mack Daddy.
Not calling you the Mack D. I can call you. Eventually, you can earn the right to be called the Mack D. You can't do that. That's possible.
Fine.
All right. So let's see.
Just call me Big Papa.
Don't tell me you love it.
So, while you were pulling up that information, I was reading some of the things on here. He had a gain of 698.69% of his holdings. They're extremely overvalued. Just back in January, the stock was going for about $869.50 per share, and the market cap was $6.74 billion. And they own approximately 900,000 acres of land in those various counties, like that. Sorry, various countries.
It's counties. It's counties. It's all in Texas.
According to this article,
does it say countries?
It says countries.
He might, but from my
Maybe
understanding, the bulk of this is in
that,
counties of Texas. Like this man owns Texas.
Do you think he originally started off as a cattle farmer? Like I don't want that to be stereotypical of Texas, but I mean,
that would make sense. So I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense, right? You're a cattle farmer, you got land, you dip into oil. I mean, oil at some point in time came into play, right?
Yeah, I mean, you get lucky, your cow like falls in a hole, and then shit, there goes my beef, and then hey, black gold, why not?
Maybe
you can have the cow.
Sure, that could be the way.
It can probably happen. It's a story,
something more along the lines of survey and testing for it, but sure, you're right. So
no, it's the cow.
It's the cow fell in the hole, sinkhole, the oil, and so you got the oil, you get the water, right? And you get the land. So, and I think there was some money involved in fracking at some point too. But here's the picture, right? Here's the picture that I see when I look at this. I see, let's see, where is the height? We're looking at March 21st. So it's still going up February. So here's what's weird about it, right? What do we got? November 5th. So this is when I look at things that I feel grody about. Grody? Is that a good word? We'll go with grody, right? So I'm a hippie. Have I mentioned I'm a hippie? I think I have. So yes. I'm a hippie, but not when it comes to investing. When it comes to investing,
So when you get those evil. Uncle Eddie vibes.
So when I get the Uncle Eddie vibes, I start thinking about oil. And when I think about oil, when I think about cruise lines, when I think about refried beans, I think about the last 4 years, right? I think about a Republican president.
What is wrong with refried beans?
I love refried beans.
Okay, then why are you associating them with a potentially?
Because it was the one time when we had a president that sat on his desk and he had sponsorship. He had beans stuff from
Rosarita Beans sponsor him or something?
I think it was Ortega. I'm not sure. I can't remember anymore. It doesn't matter. It was very.
How did I not know that?
You didn't know? Okay. Oh my God.
I don't care about politics. All right.
I don't either, but I do because.
Yeah, exactly. I do and I don't.
Sponsorship.
But why not Bush baked beans? What the fuck? We need to know their secret family recipe.
My God. Sponsor.
No, like, come on, that.
There we go.
Seriously, no.
Goya, yeah, it's Goya. Which Goya makes good product, right? I don't care about ABC News. I just want to see a picture. Damn it, kind of nonsense. Let's see.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this is not Photoshop. This is a real thing, and
you know what?
I mean, here's the deal, right?
I made those chocolate wafers.
I hate those.
But
the coconut, the adobo, I have that in my cover. I'll go grab that right now. I got some of that. You gotta have the adobo.
Supporting it. Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I love the. It's yes. I don't have the beans, but I got the adobo, and I don't have the patience to cook beans. The point is, right? The point is that was a time in history that occurred that kind of plays into a lot of different things that occurred in the last 4 years. So Biden is now the president, and you would expect a turn. You expect the similar things to occur that occurred when Obama was in, right? The left is back in, right? So he may not have Goya beans, but he may, ban fracking or something. Not that that's a bad thing. Once again, I'm a hippie in real life. When it comes to investing, I don't give a fuck. I'm interested in gains and losses. That's
going
it.
to make me money.
Exactly.
The smart way.
Yeah, I don't care. Look, I'd love for the game to be played another way. I love for it, but it isn't. So I'm going to play the game the way it's played. So you got Texas Pacific, right? Land Corporation. And you got November 5th when maybe they thought that Trump was still going to be president. And so it would have like a false increase. But that's not the case. Because look, the rise occurs when Biden becomes president.
Interesting.
Once again, Texas, oil, and water, right?
Well, technically speaking, it would make sense, and I say it would make sense with Biden getting presidency because isn't well, not isn't he, but aren't they working on stopping the pipeline?
Okay.
Pipeline. Therefore, we still have to go back to using truckers and trains and stuff to carry all this oil because we're the United States has a very large carbon footprint. But if this company that Uncle Eddie owns, or a majority of stocks he owns, Stallmurray,
Yes.
Has a very large amount of oil-rich properties. Yes, I could see a significant increase because they are preventing the actual pipeline from being built. Therefore, the cost of oil, let alone the cost of gas, we've seen it skyrocket, which is why in certain parts of California alone, gas is over $6 a gallon.
Okay.
And that would be primarily because we no longer are going to have this efficient, eco-friendly way of transporting the fuel we need. So it's going to have to continue to come from these other areas. Example, these land bases that have, for instance, the oil that this share stock, whatever owns. So, I mean, that could be, why it grows. I mean,
I could consider that a factor. I don't think it's main reasons. I mean, look,
I don't know if it's main reasons. I'm just saying that, yes, it could have been
it could attribute. Yeah, it could attribute to, it could be a contributing factor. For sure it could. But, once again, I mean, look at this guy's stock for, year. We're going back 2018. In fact, when did Trump become president? 2016?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go. That'd be November 5th, 2015 would be the kicker. And it happened. Trump becomes president and the stock rises from 200 all the way up to 868. And then the thing plays around. We're talking the first year of Trump being president, this stock's going up. Oh yeah, baby. Trump's in office. He's gonna put TPL oil on his desk and show us off like Goya, which he didn't show Goya off until near the end. Right? He didn't put a thing of beans.
Let me bring up my container of oil.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Is what I use when I go camping.
Yeah,
I don't. What the fuck are you gonna do with an oil commercial? I don't.
You could do it, sure. Yeah, but at some point in time, I don't know what happened here, and I'm gonna look into this at some point. I'm not gonna look at it right now; it's too much. But October 2018, there's a big fuck you, and this thing drops 50% from October to December in 2 months' time, from October 2018 to December 2018. This thing drops 50 fucking %. That's huge. That's huge. Am I doing that right? Can you do it? I can't do it.
Huge things are going to be happening.
Huge things happened. They happened.
Huge.
And then it turns around and gets it all back? Like, I don't know what kind of nonsense.
No, not only did it get it back, but if we're not looking that far back and we're just looking at recent months as an example,
Sure.
if we're looking at recent months, let's look at February.
Okay.
Or January. Look
2020?
at January of 2021.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You could have got into this stock at just over $1,000. And come February, it's up to 1,104 and change. Come March, it skyrockets to almost $1,600 a share. It has dropped a little down to, it looks like 1467 this month so far. But still, if you had gotten in January of this year, that's a hell of a profit.
So, and that's what I thought. I got in this at 1579.
Oh, so you have this.
And no.
I was gonna say that sucks because it looks like you lost already.
No, I got out. I did okay. I got it at 1579. Got out at 1651.
Okay, so that's not bad. Yeah,
but it's not great. It's not. So this is the same.
It's not nearly as good as if you got into it like 2 months ago.
It's not nearly as good as a double.
It's not a loss.
And even then, on a double, it's so expensive that the risk is way too high. So once again, the amount of money I made on this was like choking, on my heart and my lungs and my everything, just in my throat. Like, oh my God, I fucked up. Because
You fucked up because you sold it and you didn't keep it for the potential gains, or like what?
No, because just after looking into it a little bit more, so I think I just mainly looked at the recent part. I think a little bit too much. I found this when growth stocks fell. So yeah, March 21st. Look at that. March 21st, growth stocks fall and value stocks rise. It's just something that happened recently, right? So I'm like, yeah, everyone else is riding Exxon Mobil and all these other value stocks. These, they wanted to go with steel. What is X? That steel company, United States Steel, U.S. Steel. So everyone's going U.S. Steel in these different directions, and I'm like, hell no. If we're gonna go, value and really go value, let's go to TPL. Stahl Murray is going to make this shit happen because Stahl Murray keeps buying regularly. So I'm looking at insider trading and I'm looking at Stahl Murray, and he doesn't buy a lot, but he buys a fair amount and he buys frequently. He's constantly investing in himself. And just the news of an insider investing is just like the Biden 43%. Somebody could say, oh my God, the stock is going to drop because Elon Musk sold a share. He could sell one share of Tesla and Tesla can fall. One share. And people would they don't care about the number that was sold. At least a lot of people don't. And then once people start selling, it goes crazy. Anyways, I bought into this thinking, yeah, it's going to keep fucking doing what it's been doing. And it did, technically. It went into consolidation mode, just like it has done in the past. And my money was about to get tied up, and I jumped out, thankfully, right. I mean, it touched it again. I could have got stuck till April. Fuck. I could have been stuck for a month.
I was looking at the history of this particular stock. Now, I went back as far as April 1968.
Oh my God. Okay.
And it's just funny to me because I'm looking at a month by month basis. So April 1968, if you wanted to buy into this stock, it was almost $1,200. It
in
68 in 1968.
What?
Yeah, don't ask me. That's what it's showing right now on tradingview.com. So in 68, March and April of 1968 is $1,200 a share. It immediately plummeted.
Oh, it IPO'd. Mm-hmm.
And it has not been over that range of the 1200 until like maybe once or twice a year.
You're on TradingView, right?
Yeah.
And you're on TPL?
Yeah, TPL, Texas Pacific Land Corporation.
That's weird.
I'm looking on a monthly basis.
I'm not seeing the same thing. I'm seeing $8.68.
Let's zoom in over here. No, yeah, my graphic shows the
Try refreshing.
refresh.
Oh, I'm on the.
Now I'm on the day as well, so let me go to the month.
Oh, you know what? Even though the month says that, it may be one day. There's a ton of volume, like a few.
Still, even if one day in 1968 it went for $1,200 a share,
IPOs can do that.
That's a shitty investment because it not once,
not for Stahl Murray,
not for him, yeah, but it not once hit above 1,200 until 50 fucking years later.
Yeah, that happens.
So again, that's a shitty investment, in my opinion. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a bad stock or, whatever that company's doing, or they're doing bad stuff. It's just whatever happened, whoever invested in, whatever went down back then, sucks to be you. But it's just really weird to see, it came out and started around I think it was $700-800. Then it shot up to $1,200, and then it stayed down around that $700 to $800 for almost 50 years. That stocks are dumb.
No, this thing rode at for I don't think we were looking at the same thing. TPL. Let me see. TPL. I'm looking. Go. Okay, on the month, this thing rides below 50 until. Oh, give me a second.
Mic off. Mic on.
Okay. Oh, I lost you.
No, I'm still here.
I made a promise to get I gotta do a vortex. Not see that. It's too small. No, I don't want to save it. Oh my god, there we go. Yeah, I don't know what the heck is I don't know.
It's crazy to think about, though.
It is.
I mean, assuming that that's accurate, because I don't know.
Just showing. Yeah, it's just showing that's just the volume showing. Let's see, stop. I can barely see this on my screen, but I think what you're looking at is the lower part down there is the volume. And then the line is just this thing. So it looks like the line is at the top, and that's because of the volume of the intro, which would have put it. Yeah, it's showing 1200. It's not. That's just the volume. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. Mine's not showing that, and I am extremely confident that mine is accurate, and that's just because of how I have mine set up.
I mean, you are paying for that service.
No, I am not paying for it. I'm contemplating it. I'm sure that I will eventually, but I will try and squeeze every single second I can out of a free service. I'm not even taking the trial on it because I don't want to do that until absolutely necessary.
I mean, it makes sense to take these free trials because, like, if you're referencing, stocks and gambling and what's a good profit, what's a bad profit, here's a good profit. Most of these banks are offering you to start up a new account with them, deposit a certain amount of money, and they're going to give you a free $100 to $150 just for doing so, keeping the money in there for 90 days.
Yep.
That's a quick $150 if you got the extra money to not touch, and you'll immediately have a gain over a stock. So realistically speaking, that's a steadier investment than the stock market.
Yes, but that's the
that's
problem.
Advice from Uncle Eddie.
So that's the problem, Uncle Eddie, is the smaller amount of money, a higher percentage is easier than with the larger amount, including with just the butt clenching, that happens when moving a larger amount that, you freak out on. But so TPL, I'm gonna keep watching this guy. Because
you think there's insider trading?
Well, no, there is insider trading, and he registers for the SEC when he makes his trades. It's legal. Insider trading is not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when you do insider trading and you don't report it. But technically, that's a whole other topic because people do insider trading. How could you not report it, or at least talk about it? But when you move large sums, once again, $100, whatever, but $1 million, yeah, you got to say something. When when without getting all conspiracy crazy, but when you sell airline stocks before 9/11, or when you sell shares on COVID before the COVID fall, yeah, something's amiss, let's say. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it timing? Is it just luck? I don't know. What I do know is that the SEC requires you to report when you move. If you own a certain percentage, or if you're a member of the company, like Stahl Murray is a member of this company, so he has to report when he buys shares, and he continuously buys shares. And I think because he buys shares, other people see that and they have faith in the company. I'm not saying the company doesn't do well. I believe that it does. And I believe he wins no matter what, right? So he's into oil. My first thought when I got into this was I didn't do my due diligence when I first got into this. And that's why I think my butt clenched as hard as it did, other than the fact that the fucking price of the stock was, I got in and I was sure that this guy had been doing good during Trump. And that during Biden, when he was still doing good, I was like, why is he still doing good? And I was like, oh shit. Oh, it's because he's into oil, right? Trump. And then land, Biden. Because if you own land with oil on it, and oil's going to take a dive. Let's say oil takes a dive for the next 30 years. Well, if you can build houses on that land and take advantage of that, low income housing or high income housing, I don't know, just condos, rentals, housing. Right? And then oil starts screaming, and then if it makes more sense for the oil, tear the houses down, right? I don't know.
You're all evicted.
Yeah, right. That was my thought process. Something along the line to shorten it and make it simple. That was like I said, I'm a hippie in real life, but in the stock market, I don't give a fuck. So that was my thought process. Is just, yeah, sure, you take the land, plus you got water. Water's good, right? It's a rare, commodity.
It's not rare, but they could probably make some money selling it to California.
Water's pretty fucking rare in a lot of places.
I mean, realistically, like you take into consideration, I think it's UAE. They have the big systems to turn salt water into fresh water, and they need to because they're in a desert. I mean, they have to. But at the same time, why the fuck hasn't California done that?
They do. They have.
But they don't have enough of them.
Well, so
like they don't have a good enough resource of water, but yet there's an ocean right there.
the technology has changed over the years. If you drive the 101, whatever, San Diego Freeway from San Diego up to LA, and you look, you'll see these large machines that are in the ocean that are converting salt water into water. And the problem is these are old and they weren't efficient and they didn't run well. And the UAE had to do it, and they had the money. I mean, my God, they're selling oil. I mean, yeah, they got the money. They're just selling they got all this oil. They're selling all this oil. Everyone's buying the oil. They're involved in OPEC. They help control the price of the oil. That, they got the money. And even the main guy, the king, I guess, they got all these princes and like one king or one sheik or whatever it is. I don't know.
If I remember correctly, I sent him money in through email because he was getting kicked out of it. No, I'm kidding.
He's sending me money.
Oh, that's right. He just needed to borrow some money first.
Yes, and I sent that email to you to get you to send him the money so he could borrow that money. I should be getting that money in a year now.
So even with this, the TPL having access to all these additional resources, yes, I can see it doing good and still continue to do good. I mean, even if we're looking on the screen right now down at the Mack Daddy, it doesn't appear as if there's any type of crossover that I'm seeing. Now, mind you, it's a smaller image on my end from what I can see compared to you, but
so it's a little scary. So it's a little scary right now, because it's been on the rise. And so if we go back, if we look at the MACD here, it's been going green for a long time. But if we look at it at its high point right here, and we see the stock rises on this bar right here, and then the next day as it turns light green, it begins to fall. Now it closes higher, right? But then it falls the next day. And then it goes on the cycle of sell-off and consolidation. And it's a consolidation, which is good. This is good, right? It's a long consolidation, but it is dropping. It's good and it's bad. It's so long. God. Oh, I'm on the month here. Let me go to the day. On the month, it's still scary. On the day, it's even scarier. So I'm not a month investor. I'm definitely a swing trader. I'm in and out a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks if I get stuck like I am right now. But I'm meant to be stuck, kind of, because I wanted to be able to walk away from shit, go camping, and if I stay longer, it'd be fine. That's another story. So this is falling right now. This is a lot of selling, and it's looking like it may, rise in a couple of days, maybe. But then just to get back to where I was, I don't know, the 21st. And this just, I like conservative just ideas. It could happen sooner, it could happen later, but I know I'm kind of clear here. Let's see, what do the analysts think? Sure. Calendar. Okay.
Are we going to see his rate on this one, or if he picks it or not?
Well, so this is like Derek Whitfield from Stifel. Okay, so Derek Whitfield, Derek Whitfield, Stifel. I hate butchering people's names, but it's bound to happen. In April the 1st, which is a couple of days ago, he said this thing's going to go to 1359 in the next 12 months.
That's a drop.
That's pretty bearish, right? He's saying hold it though. Don't sell it, but in the next year it's gonna be lower than it is today. If we go back to March, this guy, Hamed Korsan from BWS Financial, who also made a rating in January, said 1700. So in January he's like 1150. First time he's announcing 1150. What's up? And then a month later, this guy comes out of the gate with, no, I was wrong, 1700. That's almost double. He jumped from 1150 to 1700 in 1 month. What is it? Let's see. So January. Let's see, January. It's at 800. He goes 1150. And then what, in March? Oh, he's right. Who's this guy? And this is Hamad Khorsand's. He's pretty sharp. I gotta write this guy's name down. He's
I mean,
seems to know
he told
something
people
here.
when to buy it, and he's basically telling people, you know, when to sell it. Like when it gets to this price, you're going to want to sell it. Which, based off of what you're looking at, and what the Mack Daddy is showing, it potentially could be getting ready to do a dive. But at the same time, it could still hit that mark before getting that dive.
It's already begun its dive.
Already begun its dive. Okay, so
yeah, it's already begun.
Before it dove, it was at 1708. Yeah. When was that? I'm still in a month. Hold on, let me go back to a day here real quick.
March 18th. So growth goes down, and this thing seems to drop too. And it shouldn't have. It should have rised with the rest of the value stocks.
What was his recommendation though? Or what didn't he say that you'd want to sell it at?
He says that his recommendation is basically saying within the next 12 months, 1,700.
Okay, so
that's
hit
his
that,
target, and that was March 1st.
Okay, so he definitely had a goal of when you should buy in, and he says it will hit this. It obviously did, and once it got over, people started selling. So obviously it could be taking a dive because there's those individuals that do listen to this specific analyst, and they sold.
Well, it took this big increase right here. And so standard, if you look at it over time, and like most stocks, some go down, heavier, but it goes up, and then it's either got to go down or it's got to go sideways.
What's
before it can go up again?
What's that site that we looked at last time to take a look at the analyst to see how accurate his
That's Tip Ranks.
Okay, let's look this guy up.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I'm curious.
Hamad Khorsand. Let's see what this guy's got. %57%. Average return of 14.2, and that's got to be including his TPL, which means in general, you don't want to listen to this guy. I'm sorry, that's horrible. But let's see. So
you know what? Sure, you can be right about one thing, but
I don't think this is. I don't think this is measuring them.
No.
I don't think this is measuring them correctly, because this has got him at 41.29%. What did he lose on? Oh, Alex. Oh, wait a minute. So in general, this guy seems to be getting the job done. He doesn't take much on losses, but he took a heavy loss on CALX. Why? What is it? China Calxon. So this guy's been right consistently on a variety of different things, but currently his numbers are bad because 71%. Where did he call this?
He called it at the 1100.
No. Am I looking at this wrong?
Well, I thought the information we're looking at is that he was saying to buy it at the 1100, and that it would peak at the 1150, and then it would peak at 1700.
No, we're talking CALX.
Oh, I apologize.
He's got
CLAX.
Okay, he said to sell it. He said this thing was going to dive, and it didn't. It kept going up. So everything he touches goes up, including the shit that he says to get rid of. If he says to get rid of it, it's going up. If he says to buy it, it's going up. His numbers are shit because he said to sell something, and he was wrong. Because if he's looking at it, it's going up.
I mean, that's pretty good statistics to go off of.
It's pretty much the case, right? 73, 70. So I guess what's not too, I don't know. I'm a little afraid to even listen to this guy now, but maybe is small. IPAR. What's that?
IPAR?
This might be an interesting Parfum.
Enter parfums.
It's a big gap right there. Okay. This might actually be interesting. We might have stumbled across something here. Let's see what everybody else says. It's at 74.49, and nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's confused. Okay, so nobody cares too much. They're like, whatever. There's no volume. It's nothing except for Ahmed. Ahmed says to buy it. Says it's gonna hit 80. 74 to 80 is not that great,
But it would be interesting to keep an eye on.
It would. And if we take a look at what he called on the TPL, he didn't think TPL was going to go that high. He did call part of that though.
I mean, he said it was going to hit 1700.
Did. But first he said it was going to hit like 1150 or something.
I thought that's where he marked that to buy it, not what it was going to hit.
That was when he initiated coverage, where basically he comes out and he's like, yeah, this is a good stock. It's going to go to this within 12 months, basically. And then it did. And it went past that. And he went, oh, yeah, I was wrong. It's going to go twice as high. And he was right. It did. And on something that big, I mean, that is, that'd be a good gain. So, yeah, TPL, it's a scary one. It's a scary one to mess around with.
Write down his name.
I got his name for sure. I'm gonna be doing some research into Hamad here. Hamad. Seems to be onto something, and maybe that's insider.
I mean, who knows? I'm gonna go grab me some more coffee though, real quick, if we want to start transitioning into the next one, or just summarize what we've gone over with this one. I'll be right back though.
Sounds good. Let's see. So we are moving on to Luminaire laser. I don't know exactly why I wanted to look at laser, but on face value, it's kind of exciting for two reasons. One, because it climbed so heavy, and then it just fell, recuperated a little bit, and played around with everyone's emotions. Then it fell some more. Then it had a false start, and it fell some more. So maybe not. Now that I'm looking at the chart this way, maybe I'm not as interested in this, because this may be just an false start or a bull trap, I guess you could call it, because this thing taking a beat. Who knows how long? It showed up in my feed, but I believe they do LiDAR. So this is Luminar Technologies Inc. It's an autonomous vehicle sensor and software company with the vision to make autonomy safe and ubiquitous by delivering the LiDAR and associated software that meets the industry's stringent performance, safety, and economic requirements. So that's good. Let's see if there's some recent news on what's driving technology stock higher. Oh, good. Okay. Rally. So into see. Oh, Tesla and Uber. Yeah, please, somebody help Uber. Ready to even now. Luminar, provider of LiDAR hardware and software, said it had appointed Alan Prescott as chief legal officer and Trey Campbell as VP of investor relations. Prescott joins Luminar from electric vehicle giant Tesla. Oh, actually, where he recently served as general counsel. That's why this is in my feed. Okay, yes. He is an automotive and autonomous legal industry expert, having previously worked with Uber Technologies and Ford Motor Company. Campbell was a 20-year veteran at Intel Corporation and has worked in various capacities at the company. Back to the, I just need quick peek at something that let's maybe think of. Curious, just curious. Taking a look. All right, so this guy, they got two movements. Yeah, I don't like it. I did on the news, but after looking at the chart, I don't believe it.
That's a lot of red.
That is, you see that? That's scary. That's scary. And what I'm curious of is this right here, March 21st. That's when that was the growth stock drop. No, March 18th. That was a growth stock. So what happened on the 18th? Is there news? Here we go. A Form 8. Okay. Whatever. Oh, am I? Oh, there we go. It's a lot. 18th. Here we go. Revenue, sales forecast, statements. Yeah, see, they got all of this news on the 18th. That's a lot of different things going on. Even though they have all that going on, after that news passed, this thing still fell. And maybe there's some other news positive. I don't know.
You said this was a growth stock?
Yeah, this is LiDAR. So if you got an EV, if you got an electric vehicle or autonomous vehicle, anything that's relying on sensors, you're gonna need their services. I'm gonna
How was its growth in February?
It was
Specifically around 23rd-ish. Really?
Yeah, I mean it fell on the gap down, so not good. And then it's
That would make sense.
I
There
need
was
to
inflation.
escape for a moment and handle something. If you could take over.
Yeah,
It's
what's the
LAZR.
Laser.
And we're looking at it because there's some C-level executives that have come over from Tesla and that were also associated with Uber. So they've gotten some new employees. They got some background, some experience in the industry. Laser, LAZR, Technology Inc. I will be back shortly.
Okay. Well, yes, I can. As long as you muted yourself, then you should be good. Watch, say something funny about... No, I'm kidding. Let's take a look. Luminar Technologies. I want to pull up their website. If we can get to it. That's definitely a drop. Let's see. LiDAR makes Luminar hires Tesla. Intel veterans sending stock higher. That was April 21st. And based off of... Okay, yeah, so they hired them. Just by announcing that they hired these individuals, the stock rose like just slightly over $2 per share just for the announcement. And it looks like that it's gone down like 14 cents since then. Mind you, this is a span of a day after the announcement. Let's see. To give us more information on the hire. Let's see. Tesla, the hire. Tell veterans. So all that really goes over, there's not a direct link so far that I found to their company site, which is fine. But it looks like the only thing that made the increase specifically was just hiring new people. And it looks like Fisker, QuantumScape, Nikola, all of these EV companies had the same gain. Interesting. So Luminaires had like a 13% jump since it went public. Well, it looks like originally it went down. Interesting, though, to see that much of a change. I feel like maybe we're just going to have to randomly hire people for ourselves. And then what the DD stock will go up. No, we're not publicly traded. See, Tesla VP legal, AI, Prescott leads to join. Okay, so this is one of the AI developers for Tesla, which was a Tesla VP that joined Luminaire, which is a LiDAR company. So that... Ooh. I think we found the website. Yeah, mapping your world at the speed of light. Call us for free estimates. Welcome to Lumina LiDAR. Remote sensing and geometrics. See, one of the main products is the top quality 3D mapping using aerial and terrestrial LiDAR. We bring you the best details of what you need indoor or outdoor projects. Our cutting edge equipment functions are being utilized 100% by our highly trained teams, which makes the job easier and more effective than ever. So, I mean, this is kind of neat in reference to the efficiency that's associated with it. Because, I mean, one of the things that they specify with using the actual drone features, like if you have somebody come out and do the surveying as a regular individual, 4 acres, a typical 3-acre parcel of land would take them roughly 12 hours or more to map out using traditional methods. But if you're using the LiDAR technology, it would take up to 4 hours to complete. So technically speaking, I mean, if you had, 2 3-acre parcels, you can have, 2 of them done, 2 separate jobs done within an 8-hour shift. And I mean, it's good in the sense of, efficiency. We love efficiency as human beings, but how would that impact the job loss? We kind of had this discussion. Don't add hot sauce to yourself. we kind of discussion in the other stream about Walmart and Walmart hiring, for instance, not hiring, but basically purchasing robots to make it more efficient, basically have less people that they have to worry about, rely on, and pay, of course. And that honestly seems kind of like what this is doing too. This is what the job of this Lumina LiDAR is. The kind of creepy thing when I'm looking at this on their website is that the drones can also develop a 3D model after it processes all the data that it's been collected. And some of these models kind of show like things inside people's windows, like couches and stuff. And they're definitely not the same based off the 3D models. So it kind of eliminates some privacy concerns, or well, brings up privacy concerns. It eliminates the ability to have privacy. It's a little interesting. Where are these guys located? These guys are located in Riverside, Connecticut. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely utilizing drones specifically. So it's kind of a interesting thing. But again, that's assuming that I got the same one. This one is the Lumina LiDAR. And so far, it's the only one that I've been able to pull up an actual website because the Luminar LiDAR doesn't seem to populate.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay. No.
I'm going to have to end the stream. It is late. I didn't realize the time here. It is get the kids ready for bed. And there's chaos everywhere.
Oh.
We have cats, we have dogs. We just came back from camping. Okay. It's madness. It's a whole madness thing. And I was supposed to buy 2 liters. We're supposed to make a vortex. Do you remember the vortex?
Yes.
With the 2 liters and the dye and I didn't get the 2 liters, and now I got to get 4 2 liters to make up because I didn't get 2 2 liters.
This is what Instacart is for.
Yes. Well, this is going to be right down the road. Get it a lot quicker to make the experiment. And tonight, if I can off, we'll see. Anyways, sorry to have to end the stream abruptly. We made it to LiDAR. Worries. I'm sure you handled the LiDAR. Still got dimensional Australian, quite a few to go through.
We went over a bit of it. So then you just let me know when you got time and you're settled with the kiddos, and then maybe we'll pick up tomorrow or the next day.
Yes, we can definitely pick up tomorrow if you got time, and if not, the next day. I'm always here. I'm going to be looking at Hamed and getting some information. That's really why we have to end the stream. I found some information about Hamed Khorasan that I have to investigate thoroughly and very fast.
Ooh.
No, I'm
potential good stuff. No,
it is good. It looks good. Everything the man touches seems to be gold. So I'm all over that. I'm definitely going to be taking a look at that. The LiDAR, what's your read on it? Is it it's no-go? Looks like a no-go.
I mean, based off the way it's going, it's a no-go, but at the same time, it's reminding me of the what was it, Bossa Robotics? The ones that we're talking about.
Oh yeah, SoftBank.
Because basically it looks like the company
Bossa Nova
drones. Bossa Nova, that's it. With their failed attempt, because it looks like what this is doing is essentially replacing the need for regular surveyors, and getting the work done faster is one of the primary goals, because they use the drones to be unmanned, but also to map out like a 3-acre parcel of land within 4 hours, which would normally take a regular individual 12 hours to do.
That doesn't seem like a good enough reason to handle it.
Cost-wise, it could, because it develops a really large overlay of the land, and it also puts together a 3D model of the land as well.
Which is awesome.
Everything, but it's definitely one of those things where, yes, it could be good, but B, it could backfire because it's going to promote job loss.
Oh, that's just bound to happen. Anyways, we will pick this up tomorrow, the next day, and
peace.
Yeah, peace. We'll take a look at it again. Peace.
See you guys.